Warning. The following was made with zero professionalism. Viewer discretion is not advised.
We're talking about Princess Wing, or the full name, if you prefer, or the RPG Princess Wing, because it both sounds so nice. Okay, so Princess Wing.
Yes.
So Princess Wing, very long story short, it's basically what would happen if Sailor Moon and Gundam have kids and put them in Japan. Basically, that's the short gist about it.
Yes.
Very short gist. So I think the video is done. Okay, we're done. But are good. See you later. No, okay, fine. So Princess Wing. First thing I have about it, Princess Wing is set to start about 30 years in the future, more or less. Which, as you might know about me, I am not a fan of very short time periods in my systems. Mainly because, well, in modern settings, okay, fine, you can use guns and etc. But then you're saying this is happening in 30 years. It's like, I'm not a fan of it. Because in this time, well, let's remember what was like 30 years ago. The Super Nintendo was out, and it was the best thing ever. It still is. The internet was basically AOL and chat rooms.
Ah, yes. I've always wanted to hear my modem screech like it's dying and then see a guy's dick.
Yep. And Britney Spears didn't even sing. The biggest at that time, I think, was Madonna. No one likes Madonna. Well, okay, a lot of people like Madonna, but okay, fine. I'm gonna stop. So, what happens in the setting of Princess Wing? So 30 years before the time of the system, basically a meteorite fell near Lake Tagish in Western Canada, because all good things happen in Canada. Canada, full of protein and bees or moose or goose or whatever.
Is meese the plural form of moose?
I don't think it's nice. Mooses?
Maybe it's like sheep.
So, moose again?
Yeah, it's like, is it a herd of moose?
English is so fucking complicated, man.
It's because English isn't a real language. It's like Italian. It's a collection of a bunch of other languages masquerading as one language.
Fair enough. Okay, so basically,
the size of my pencil.
I don't know. I mean, it's goose, geese, and then it's mice, and then it's mouse, mice, and then there's corns, and then we have moose. That I don't know if it's meese. I think it's moose again. Well, whatever. The point.
And then you have person, peoples, persons, and peoples, which all have 3 separate different terms.
Jesus Christ, man.
So, persons is when you're unsure of the number of people who did die and their individuals. People is when you're sure of the number or you were talking about a vague group. And peoples is when you were talking about groups of different types of people.
Incredibly fucking complex. Incredibly fucking annoying.
You're welcome. Where the fuck is the thing that lets me change the size of my brush?
Thank you, Oxford. We love that. Okay, anyway. So, the meteorite fell into Lake Tagish 30 years before the things happening in Princess Wing. So, the meteorite fell, and this was called the Tagish incident because, of course, creativity was dead by then. So a bunch of guys went to the Lake Tagish in Canada. I'm going to guess using the pause. And when they got in there to see what happened with the meteorite, instead of something cool like, I don't know, Pokemon, or, I don't know, Marasmus, or aliens, well, technically aliens, there was a bunch of robotic spiders there. Because of course the spiders would come.
Apparently, I have.
So they thought,
Oh no.
and as the spiders are known to go, they just saw the spiders hid, and no one saw them more. Because fucking spiders. I am not a fan of spiders, man. I mean, they're cute sometimes when they're small, and when they are not living in your ears, because I have seen that.
Yeah, sometimes a spider will crawl in your ear. It's just a normal thing that happens sometimes.
I mean, it's wet, it's kind of hot, it's fresh. Well, not fresh, but dark. I understand the logic, but what is there? Fucking spiders, man. Anyway, so the spiders disappeared. A little bit later, they found a lot of spiders everywhere else in the world. What were they doing there? We don't know. Scientists said they were maybe investigating the planet, because after that happened, a bunch of space development organizations, like the NASA, or the Mexican Space Association, or the Brazilian Space Association, or the European Space Association, or maybe Elon Musk and his fucking car that is in space. Is it in space? Well, they started detecting a bunch of shit coming from space. Initially, they said, well, this is going to burn when it enters the atmosphere. Where it's coming there, I don't know. Why is it burning? We don't know. But normally shit that comes from space burns when it covers the atmosphere.
Yeah, that is what I hear.
So I have a problem here because apparently no scientist in the future has seen aliens invasion movies. Like the Independence Day, the good one, or Aliens 2, the bad one, where shit that comes from space just invades us. And maybe we have burned all those movies in the future. I don't know. I don't know how they expected that. So of course, all objects from space came, penetrated the atmosphere, and fucking appeared everywhere in the world. Because of course that would happen. So, all the shit from space opened its wings, took a bunch of forms, like animals, organisms, and started attacking.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what happens in alien invasion movies. So please, for the love of God, if someone from NASA, from the Mexican Space Association, everywhere, is there, please don't destroy alien invasion movies. We need our scientists to see that. Just to forget that if we see a lot of shit coming from space, please don't consider that it will burn. Maybe it's trying to invade us. Okay, anyway, please pray. So, the military, of course, was deployed. But unsurprisingly, because these are aliens, the military couldn't hurt them at all.
Yeah.
Basically. So the war was in chaos. Everyone was...
Yeah, very standard out of the frying pan into the fire sort of storytelling. It's like, well, let's deploy our solution to our inciting incident. Oh no, it's the second act. Uh-oh.
We fucked again. So, after fucking it up by the second time by now, scientists decided, okay, we're going to investigate these things this time. We are, even if they are spiders, because spiders are evil. So, first thing they discovered, the Tagish incident was maybe a scout mission. That's literally how the Lord puts it, as maybe, so I'm not going to change it because I can make a better joke than that. Second, they discovered that these life forms, mechanical life forms, were protected by some kind of barrier that transfers dimension and transfers energies of the impact directly to a region in space where galaxies are mostly absent, called the hyperspace void, or to Ohio, whichever is less boring. So of course they chose space. So, as they sent the power to the hyperspace void region, they decided to call them the void.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to have to call them now like void, even though I refuse to do that, mostly because calling them space Didos would have been funnier.
Space Didos? What?
Yeah, the Pokemon Dido.
Oh, Ditto.
No, the-
Okay, that makes way more sense now. I was like Doritos?
Doritos. Well, they are.
We're taking away your Mexican card, Maz.
Nope, never. Doritos. Well, anyway,
You willingly eat Doritos?
of course I do. I am fat and Mexican, but particularly fat.
Those two should. Okay, the fat thing, yes. The Mexican thing should cancel that out, though. You guys.
Not really.
Doritos
Have you
trash.
seen what we eat here?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
it's fruit doused in fucking sugar and syrup and sauces. It's the best.
Of course it is. But why do you think we have the fattest country in the world? Suck that, America!
America can't even have obesity.
We are fatter than you now, fuckers. What are you going to do? Ha!
Damn, smells like communism down past the border.
Do. Well, maybe they want sugar. I don't know. We have sugar here. Our soda actually still uses sugar, which is interesting. And apparently, Americans prefer it than the soda they have there, because there's just, high fructose syrup, and apparently it tastes worse. And probably it does. So anyway, a bunch of things from space invaded, and everyone was fucking back. So, a year passed.
What brush is this? Was it this one?
I don't know. Why are you asking me about brushes?
Ooh, that's bad.
Oh my god.
I grabbed the wrong
So,
brush. So I'm trying to figure out how I did this splatter pattern last time. I can't remember what brush I used.
I don't know. I choose shit at random and sometimes works. But I am also not an artist, so anyway. So after a year of the
Neither am I.
void attacks starting, they swarmed a little town on the east coast of the United States. Of course, the military was used by this point to fucking losing, so lost, and the town was fucking turned to ashes. Barely to the level of Detroit. A little bit better. So, but there was a change here, because the void began to retreat, something that the void usually didn't do. So, a bunch of scientists went there, to the city in the east coast, and investigators revealed that what had happened was that a teenage girl in the town grabbed a gun, just an average gun that was near, started shooting the thing trying to protect her friends, and the voids got damaged. And they said, this is unusual, and they left. So, the unusual thing about this was, one, that the girl had never received any combat training. Two, the handgun was completely normal. And three, that this happened in America and the girl had never received any combat training, nor had a handgun. Because it's fucking America. We know you guys have all the guns.
I mean, fun fact,
well-
Sweden has Switzerland, has the exact same gun laws as America.
Yeah, but there's also less Swedish people. No, Swiss people, yeah. Maybe Swiss needs some more Americanization. Shooting people, the usual. Or not, who cares? So, anyway. So, the scientists arrived. They said to the girl, hey, little girl, do you want to come to our research institution to seek ways to defeat the void? And,
Hey kid, you want to learn trauma?
yeah, I have read enough science fiction to know this is a bad idea. The lore said that the girl accepted willingly.
Yes, willingly.
willingly, of course. I don't know, by the threat of violence or something. You know, come on. I have read enough science fiction to know just that didn't happen. You know that. Okay. So, 1 year later, with the collaboration of this girl and all those children about her age, it was discovered that humans could make an energy that could destroy the barriers at point. And this power was called the precious energy, because everything in the system has freaking. So, that power was originated what the investigators decided was the human heart. What part of the heart is not defined, is not deciphered, because they said that heart is basically, and I'm going to try to say it as the system says, it's basically the desires, wishes, basically what you're loving. Which makes it funny, because apparently no one loved anything during 1 year. Because let's remember that this happened 1 year after the boy started.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I don't know. Maybe humankind becomes more cynics in the next 30 years. I don't know. So anyway, 2 years later, after 2 years of investigation, the scientists started harnessing that precious energy. And they designed basically an armored suit integrated with all kinds of weaponry, and they called it dress code. And they designed the first prototype, Generation Zero, called Eve. And they never said how many girls with the prototype Generation Zero, and basically vanquished the board. So finally they could counterattack the board. 2 years later, there were a bunch of dress codes and a bunch of wearers of dress codes, and they started being called the princesses. So this is where the princess wing part comes from. So basically, at the time, after 6 years of invasion, the boys were very few in variety, and basically they repeated behavior patterns, but they were a lot of spiders from space. Basically, it was an armamentistic race to get the better weaponry. So they started turning the tide. 3 of these girls, called the Three Aces, and later the Brilliant Three, because I guess Triforce was already trademarketed by then, were basically goddesses of fight. Literally, the system says they achieved miraculous victories with formidable power. And they were called the Brilliant Three. So people were hopeful, finally. And after 6 years of being invaded, they made the Operation Dance Boy, which was basically a simultaneous worldwide attack on the nests of the void, take them out from Earth. And the thing is that it worked.
Yeah.
They kicked the void nests like they were the spider spawning things from Minecraft.
Oh, yeah.
And the void was kicked all the way out of the earth, directly kicked from the server Earth. Okay.
Server
Then-
admin has kicked you. Flying
A lot
is
of ass
unbelievable
kicking.
server.
Yeah, they deserved it. We didn't have enough torches.
Yeah.
And after another 2 years, scientists decided, you know what? We maybe need a special shield to protect the Earth, because we can put all the girls in space to keep fighting void.
We're gonna put him in the International Space Station, and this totally won't end like Kite Liberator.
Maybe, yeah, that's basically the idea. So they made what it was called a celestial sphere, which is basically a bunch of what's the name? A bunch of satellites around the Earth that basically produced a shield made out of precious energy, which avoid the Empress. And that's basically a little short and summarize the substance of what's the story of the system. So, what's a princess? Because that's an important thing. So, a princess is basically defined as an individual with aptitude that basically can manipulate the precious energy that we described before, and that can manipulate the weapons of the dress code. Basically, the armor.
Yes. And a lot of the aesthetics of this system are very, like, fairy tale adjacent. Not the anime, like, actual fairy tales.
A bunch of fairy tales. The thing is that, first of all...
Not directly, because you also have, like, Alice in Wonderland and shit for a motif and stuff like that.
Yeah, there are 12, I think? 12 styles? Including, of course, expansions.
Yes.
But let's talk about the first 7, just because they are
they're the ones you're going to be seeing first.
Yeah, they're the ones that you're going to see first. So first of all, if you want to be a princess, congratulations if you're female, because that's an important requirement.
Yes.
Because this is a time of inclusion. There are actually some male princesses, some trans princesses, and some binary princesses, but they are so few that they rarely count.
Yeah.
That's literally the lore, so I'm not going to discuss it. Second of all, you have to take a test called the aptitude test. Basically, that you can produce precious energy and you can manipulate it. You can take that test either in the hospital or in your closest military base. One of these things is not like the other. And third point, you have to be ready to get basically into the worst battlefield on Earth. Middle school.
I am unfamiliar with how American middle school works. Is it, like, actually bad?
Well, in Mexican middle schools, they're brutal. I mean, it's full of teenagers. Have you been near 20, 30 teenagers?
Yeah, see,
for any period of time?
Yeah, I mean, here on Hellfire Island, we didn't do middle school. We just have primary school and high school, and that's it.
Yeah, well, middle school for us is like the school you go between 12 and 15 years old.
Yeah,
so basically that's what I'm saying.
That got split up for us mostly. I think currently now all of that's folded under high school because they moved grade 7 from the end of primary school up to the start of high school for reasons that don't make any real sense. So,
Money.
Maybe.
Perfect.
I think it was to rearrange high school funding.
Yeah, it sounds logical. Okay, so anyway, first of all, if you're a woman, you already have a very good chance of becoming a princess.
Yeah.
Second of all, you have to be able to manipulate the precious energy. And third requirement, you need to be in between 13 and 25 years old. Because most princesses are in that range of age.
Yes. You need to be able to become a child soldier range. So that we
yes.
So we can weaponize your ennui.
The good thing is that, especially for a system coming from Japan, and I have read made, I find it interesting that they decided to put a line at 13 years old. I am proud of you, Japan. I am fucking proud of you.
Hey guys, we haven't got any middle schoolers with double D cups. They're all high schoolers.
Problem is, in the expansion of the system, they decided to eradicate that limit of 13 years old, and you can get whenever the fuck you want. So basically, they nuked their only achievement in one book. So, 25 years old, you are now a child soldier, and you're in high school, surrounded by a lot of girls with lots of colored hairs and funny and a lot of things happening. So, precious energy, it's a cute one. Problem is, what happens with with emotions like dissatisfaction, anxiety, anger, jealousy, things that never happen to teenagers.
Never, ever, ever, yeah.
Never ever had happened. So that energy is transformed into dark precious energy because originality is dead. So dark precious energy is very similar to precious energy, but the problem is that this dark energy, first of all, it's pretty much infinite.
Ah, yes.
And second of all, it actually makes the void stronger.
Yeah, so as is tradition, if they're a bad guy, they've got access to cold fusion nuclear power. And if you're a good guy, you have a lighter and a rock.
Basically, yes. So yeah, it's a bad idea to be very angry, anxious, and jealous as a princess.
If
Because
this is the
also-
case, you would hope that, the facilities have some form of good psychological help.
Actually, you do. That's why it's called princesses, and they are basically mini celebrities. They
That's
are like
the opposite of good psychological help.
well, let's think about it. Mostly women. Most of these girls are very extrovert because you have to be if you want to go kick ass in basically a mini skirt.
Yeah, that doesn't
I mean,
change the fact that being put on a pedestal all your life and being put in the spotlight 24/7 has pretty big, major detrimental effects on your mental health, no matter how extroverted you are.
It depends on the extrovert. I mean, it worked for
This is
Lindsay
true.
Lohan. Okay, refuse that. Okay, reject that. Taylor Swift? Yeah, we're going to use Taylor Swift.
No,
Anyway.
Taylor Swift does not have good mental health. That's pretty clear.
No one cares. But anyway, it's Hollywood. No one cares. So anyway, so basically they have all they want. They get a little scholarship for being princesses. You get gifts. A lot of people adore you. You're basically a mini celebrity. You're like a mini teacher. You are whatever you want to call it. So they have pretty comfortable lifestyles as princesses. Problem is, if your heart gets overpowered by the dark precious energy, you become a dark princess, which is basically a princess with infinite power and a lot of anger. And you don't want that. Oh, also,
All the protagonist / antagonist of a very specific kind of racial play handling.
yeah, basically. Problem is that once the Dark Princess is gone, if you are not receiving something called Precious Aid, which is basically psychological treatment in the field after you're being defeated, you basically fucking die. So it's a bad idea to get overpowered by Dark Precious Energy.
Yeah, it sounds like not a great idea.
Yeah, it's not good. So, dress codes. Sure. Short version. Dress codes, 5 parts. The Princess Core, which is basically the piece of the armor that gives you your powers. You can have and lets you switch into the armaments.
Yeah, and mechanically it's the closest this system gets to a class.
Basically, yes. Your left and right armaments, your top armament, which is in your head, and your bottom armament, which is in your legs. Very, very short. So, what functions does the dress code cover? Of course, first of all, it lets you kick ass, which is important. Second of all, it has a very impressive flight capacity, because you can ascend to altitudes of approximately 11 kilometers, and you won't die if you're wearing this, because it also gives you air and protection. Third of all, it gives you a special shield made out of precious energy called Precious Protect, which is basically the strength of your armor, where you can look cute, kick ass, and be protected. which is awesome.
Ah, yes, every high schooler's dream.
And of course, it has other functions because you can incorporate speakers, you can add cameras, you can basically do the diva of war crimes against aliens. I'm not sure if they are called war crimes.
They shouldn't have come to Earth if they didn't want to get absolutely roasted and then die to Never Gonna Give You Up on repeat.
Oh my god, I would kill myself as an alien if that happened.
Picture this. You're walking down the block, a drive-by happens, and as you're bleeding out on the pavement, you just hear, "You get the best of both worlds."
Oh, that's horrible. That's absolutely horrible.
You're welcome.
You are horrible.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the dress code, of course, is stored somewhere else. You can store it at home if you have like a lot of money, but usually it's maintained and repaired and stored in military facilities.
Ah, yes. One of these is not like the other.
Exactly. So you have your precious gear, which is basically the wand that they used in Sailor Moon to change into forms. And once you change into your precious on, basically the code to get the weaponry.
Yes.
You are covered in energy, so your nudity is not seen because they had to cover that. I don't know why. I imagine why, but I don't know why.
Well, it's because they don't want to give everybody who watches a sex offender registry charge.
Another one. And another. And the dress code can be designed as whatever the fuck you want. If you're a good princess.
Look, not everybody wants to be R. Kelly.
Basically, yeah. So, that's a princess. There are a bunch of princesses. Approximately 1% of the human population can become a princess.
That's still like 800. That's still, about 80 million people. That's a lot of people. That's a lot.
I know. That's why I have conflict with the lore, because in 1 year nobody loved anyone. Nobody in the army had the ability to do precious sun or to produce energy. Just my logic.
Yeah, no,
I know. You finally understand me.
Yeah,
Okay, so
you're right. That is still a fuck ton of people.
and nobody can stop this thing.
Then again, it's probably also a selective pressure. Not a lot of people join the military because they have a healthy, life or anything.
Well, depends. In America, it's probably because of everything. They get a lot of free shit. Anyway, so those are our heroes. Or who you are going to represent? A girl with illusions that goes to middle school, high school equivalents to kick ass of aliens. So let's talk about our aliens, the Void. Basically, Voids are robotical, mechanical life with a mechanical body that hate life. That's basically their whole gist. They hate life. We don't know why.
Well,
we don't know why. They can reproduce and they can eat. And we fucking know that. Why we know that, I don't know.
Maybe there's some sort of spin-off of Elon Musk's failed attempt at an AI chatbot to kill wokeness that then got nuded.
Yeah, I am going to guess that the last tweet we're going to get is Neuralink is working and we're going to get a bunch of zombies. That's going to be the last thing humanity is going to do. I guarantee it.
Look, if COVID's anything to go by, what's going to happen in a zombie apocalypse is just going to be the exact same thing that happened with COVID. New Zealand and Australia are going to end up mostly fine. America's going to go to hell, and everything's going to fucking die off, and then the rest of the world is going to have to clean up America's mess.
I am not sure if Australia can be considered to be fine, like it is right now, or any other time.
Hey,
But yeah, that's that.
we
Besides
still,
that,
we
it's
still
pretty
ended
great.
up getting out better than fucking America ever did. And we have we are about as large as America is. I think we're only 100,000 kilometers smaller overall. Actually, no, I can literally check this. I remember Googling this for a point. It's...
Are you really Googling? Well, we are discussing.
Anyway, yeah, you continue.
Okay, anyway. So, also, Australia is mostly desert. I don't think COVID wants to be in the fucking desert.
Okay, two things. Not mostly desert. It's just that there are 4 very large ones in the center.
So it's fucking desert.
The center is. Nobody lives in the center. We live on the outside. Which is why it's super urbanized. Unless you go out west a little bit, and then it's... Or east if you're on the west coast. The west coast of Australia is... Look, there's like... You can literally draw a slider of urbanization from inside out. It's like a cream bun. The outside of the pastry is where all the people are, and the cream on the inside is where people try not to live.
Right. That's a problem. Right. So anyway, so what kind the boy did? Well, the boy apparently medals. Unsurprising.
Yeah.
So the theory to the moment is that the boy basically came to Earth because we have metals here. Why didn't they go to another fucking planet full of metals? I don't know. They decided to invade Earth.
Okay, the US is 8 million kilometers roughly.
Are you fucking still looking for that information?
Look.
Jesus fucking.
And I know Australia's like 7 million. Yeah. 7 million, nearly 8 million.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. We done?
Yes.
Good. So basically, the boy also has a program that basically is a blueprint, and they can modify the boy's body. Why would the boy modify its body? To fulfill another niche in the boy. Basically, they are like fighting boys, they are like defensive boys, they are like the boys that do all the work. So the boy connects these mechanisms.
Hang on,
and
this is
they
just EDF.
adapt.
Hold up, this is just EDF, but with cute girls.
Basically, yes.
Somebody played EDF, saw the wing divers, and went, yeah, what if we just focused exactly on those?
On the girls.
The wing divers were... Look, the wing diver has a fucking pubic hair of health the entire time. And, you know, some of the most powerful weapons ever?
Well, this is the cute version. Let's say it like that.
Yeah, fair. I doubt that any of these guys have an atomic railgun strapped underneath their arm.
I hope not. Because none of the girls have that. Even in the update.
That's a sadness.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with less weapons. It's already pretty fucking annoying. So, how do they reproduce? Basically, 2 boys fuse. They have a genetic mechanism, and they reduce their programs that they have been doing about their bodies, about what works, and that program combines. They get the best part of each one, and they produce another boy.
Alright, so they fusion Ha into a separate animal.
Basically, yes. So it's horrible. So their intelligence. They hate everyone. They hate everything that is alive. And basically they kill life forms. Anywhere. Whatever. They have a priority killing. Probably because they decided that humans are the ones that should be killed on sight. So basically, if a human is near the boy, that human is dead. No questions asked.
Fair enough. They realize that humans are a problem.
Are basically assholes, yes. there are a bunch of types. We're not going to discuss this. We have to discuss the queenboids.
Yes.
Because the queenboids are basically like the queens of the bees or of ants or whatever the fuck you want. Basically, they are the smartest voids, the most powerful voids, and basically every other void is fucking scared of the queen void. So they are very intelligent, incredibly intelligent. They can even speak human languages, all human languages at the same time.
Right.
They can hack, they can manipulate, they can do whatever they want, and very, very, very important, queenboids can actually manipulate dark precious energy.
Ooh, fun.
So this basically makes them very, very fucking dangerous because this puts them on the level of princes. And let's remember, dark precious energy is basically infinite.
Yeah.
Precious energy is not. So, what do queenboids do? Besides, also the queenboids are basically parasites. They can invade your mind and you don't know they are there, which is a fucking problem. Because when you want to find who is manipulating the voids nearby, well, it's difficult to find them because they're fucking in your mind. Kind of like chaos in Warhammer, more or less.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so what can queenboids do besides manipulating dark precious energy, being feared by other voids? Well, first of all, they can actually transfer from another dimension voids, evading the fucking celestial sphere altogether.
Oh, rad. They have teleportation powers.
Basically, yes. It requires a lot of energy. Very, 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 very big amounts of energy. So what do? Well, they do something called the coffin, which is basically they grab a person, preferably a princess, that is producing lots of dark precious energy. So they entomb it inside their bodies and basically torture it. So it produces more dark energy.
Fair enough.
Good news! If you defeat the void, you take out the coffin. That's the good news. The coffin is almost indestructible. Almost indestructible. What you need to do to save the coffin? You have to apply precious aid. You know this therapy that I told you before against the coffin and the person that is inside the coffin.
Alright, so we need to give the coffin space therapy.
Basically, yes. Once the void is dead, to try to release the person that is inside. If you manage to do good precious aid, the coffin opens, the person is slightly injured or very injured or whatever, it will recover. If you do bad precious aid, the person inside is not going to die. It's going to become basically catatonic once her heart is completely dried, and it will be basically an empty husk forever.
Okay, so it's anybody who finishes high school.
Basically, yes.
So Princess Wing is a metaphor for high school.
That's fine, except with a lot of women, very young girls, etc.
Anyway, we're going to shove these ladies into the workforce after we've turned them into war criminals.
Yeah, basically gun them, or whichever system you want, with Sailor Moon. With more guns. So, of course, there is a massive section about the scholar life of these girls.
Yes,
and a massive section.
This is actually a slice of life RPG.
Basically, yeah, because even in the system, at first you have to give the slice of life part. You know, I don't know, Susan, and went to her part-time job,
Yeah.
and a client yelled at her. So she lost composure, amended the boss, and lost another job, for example.
Well,
That's even part of the system, which is fun,
yeah.
but also not very fun. It's a massive section.
Yeah.
So let's call about the forms to become a princess, because not all princes are created equal,
Yeah.
fortunately. So princesses, some are better for one function, some are better for other functions. Some can carry your biggest sniper rifles, someone carry your massive swords, some can punch things. So actually we have a robotic animal. So important. So let's talk about the original ones. We're not going to talk about expansion. So let's start with Azure Cinderella, which are basically dressed in blue. And it's based, if you didn't hear correctly, on the tale of Cinderella.
Yes.
Surprise, surprise. So, Azure Cinderella are basically your average girls. They are better using swords. They have an ability that allows them to change armament.
Okay.
So they can change weaponry in the middle of the fight if you run out of energy, because, as we said, in the system, you have a limited amount of mana points for saying something, a limited amount of power points. So you can change forms into another armaments that use less energy, for example, that you can use without energy and don't die. So Cinderella, using that ability, can change forms. It's funny, it's interesting, it's kind of your average one.
Makes sense, yeah.
Then is the Emerald Match Sellers that are in the green side.
Yep.
From the tale of the match seller, the little match girl. So the score is completely based on snipers, on fire, on flamethrowers. They barely move, unfortunately. They barely move, but well, they're using a sniper rifle, so it's not like you need it. But they can use a lot of flames. Even their special ability is basically a super beam made out of fire that goes in whatever direction you want and burns everything on its way for a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Problem with these girls is that, well, they are very far away and barely move. So, this Emerald Match Sellers. So let's go with Radiant Rapunzels, which are on the color orange. From the tale, of course, Rapunzel. Which these girls basically have the ability to move very, very, very fast using their ability. They can change armaments, they can extra move. They usually use close weapons, but they can move very fast also, so it's not like they hit it. Basically what they can do.
Yeah.
Then we got it's not like very interesting. In the Scarlet, then we have the Scarlet Hoods, the Crimson Radiant Hoods, which usually they dress red, of course. It's based on, you guessed it, the Little Red Riding Hood. And these girls are some of the fastest, and they carry a lot of submachine guns. Basically, these girls are made to grab weapons that can shoot many, many, many times.
Okay, so these are the girls you pick up when you need to go do a drive-by.
Basically, yes. These are your Australian typicals.
Obviously. Look,
then we have...
It's very simple. As long as you can put enough bullets in the general direction, they'll stop moving eventually.
Well, I think it worked. Then we have the Sleeping Beauty, the Violet Thorn Princesses. Violet, I don't know why. Why are they based on the Sleeping Beauty? I don't know. But these girls are the ones that can and will punch you until you are down.
Yes, they're the ones
They-
sleepwalking from problem to problem.
Yeah, they move fast, they have a lot of health, they have a lot of shields, and they will punch you until you are completely down. And it's probably my favorite one on the first occasion. Then we have the Wonder Alice core for the Jet Black Alice, of course. So this one is kind of weird because actually you design two types of armaments, two variations, kind of like in the Cinderella one. But once you switch into one, you can go back. Unlike Cinderella, you can change again. So, and after that, you can change into the other one that you prepared, but you can't turn back.
Yeah.
So basically, you are in one style at one moment. When you decide, you know what, I'm out, you change into your next style of combat, and then you basically change into power.
Yeah.
They have a decent speed, they have a decent HP. It's a little complicated. It's a lot complicated, but it's a decent one for people that like it. And then we have the Snow Whites. The Snow Whites that are the pristine Snow Whites. These girls are based on, surprise, surprise, Snow White.
Yeah.
So they basically the change with these girls is that basically they change into form. They change into a form to fight, and they can change into the other form, and they can change back if they need it, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
They can change into variations. They have two variations to choose, and they can choose which one they want to change when they need it. So it's more versatile. They are a little bit less strong than Jet. They are slower. They have less cards, but they're decent. I think it's a good option.
Yeah, because
Not my favorite.
The way combat resolves in here is almost plays out like a collectible card game.
Basically, yeah. We still have time.
Yes. I believe so. It's only 11. But I need to go through the list of things I need today. I'll probably call it at lunch for the recording.
Okay, so we have some time.
Yeah, we got like 15 minutes because I need to wash a print and let it cure because I'm taking it to the board game club tonight for the guy who paid me for it. So now he's got a bunch of Necron shit. And I want to make deep fried cookie dough for the board game club.
Okay, so let's make it very quick. So, replay, you make your character. There are a lot of rules to make a character, but making it short, you choose your core, you choose your first variation. If you have more variations, you choose your other variations, and you choose the abilities of your character. Very, very short. Of course, you have to choose in between some of those abilities which class you love, because you can choose. These are high school girls, so you have to choose which class you're better at, which class you're worse at, which dreams you have, what club you're in, typical high school stuff. What part-time job you have, what dreams you have to become. Is there an important worry, something that worries you? What motivations you have, what memories you have? You're making more the psychological profile of your character.
Yeah.
More than the character itself. Of course, after that, you grab all the weapons you want and you go to town. First off. So, how does the game flow? Because that sounds important. That sounds important, and we are going to give the very short version because we are actually planning to make a little game.
Yeah,
little game.
Probably do a one shot at some point.
At some point, but if this one took a long time, maybe the one shot will take a little bit more, or not. Who knows? Anyway,
yeah.
First is the pre-play because it has parts, as we mentioned. This is basically a slice of life. So we have the pre-play. One girl or or not one girl, or all the girls are introduced to what's happening.
Yes.
Basically, you get your first
You're deciding
exploration of
Yeah.
the incident that's going to happen in that episode. We're saying it something. The GM basically describes the scene, your main characters, or well, secondary character, what's going to happen. Basically, the introduction to your classic anime show.
Yeah.
Then it's the introduction part, where first of all is the piece's daily life, which can be personalized, where each character talks about their day, about something, or they can be in group. So they say, all our friends went to work to McDonald's, or the equivalent in Japan, whatever it is. Maksushis?
Something like that.
Whatever the fuck. We went, we decided to take a soda, and we started talking. We saw a boy that we liked, we shared memories, whatever. And this is...
Wolf, chill the fuck out.
That's nice.
Sorry.
And, don't worry. It's always good to hear dogs. And then we have the beginning of the story after the daily life, which is basically where you push the characters as a GM to fucking start your story.
Ah, yes. It has an inbuilt system to make the GM go, hey, here's the fucking plot, go.
Yeah, basically he's railroading the system. And I fucking love it.
Oh, fun. These headphones are from Vietnam.
Flashbacks. So basically, at the beginning of the story, you can divide your characters if you need, two characters in different places, whatever. And it happens the scenes, whichever number of scenes you need. Usually it's 2 to 3 scenes.
Yeah.
Where the story happens, the main plot. Then we go to the investigation part. That is also based in scenes.
Yeah.
Where basically our characters or character, however they are divided or if they are going all together, them start investigating what the hell is going on. Or if something happened. Or whatever. And here you need something that is called tags. The tags are basically codes that help you progress the story and finish the story as it should be. Okay, like for example, can't give up. It's like hashtags, more or less, the idea. So for example, if let's say there's a girl that is very sad, you don't know why. During the investigation part, you find out that her history is very sick. Maybe the hashtag can be, the tag is hashtag healing prowess or something. Or medicine, whatever. So in the investigation part, you start trying to solve what's going on. And in a moment, it happens what's called the interlude. Which has 2 possibilities. The first one is called catastrophe. In which something really horrible happens. Usually a queen boy or a dark princess or something awful happens that forces combat and starts destroying the city, because of course it is.
Bad thing
or the second
happens.
Yeah, or the second one, which is the short interlude, where things don't go that bad, but you are going to still fight. Because it's a slice of life. And it's basically Sailor Moon. So combat is going to happen, whether you like it or not.
Exactly, yeah.
So here comes the combat part, the catastrophe. Basically, something horrible happens, very horrible, and you have to punch the problem out of the equation. It happens. So the catastrophe is also divided by scenes. Maybe if the girl with the sick sister gets from the doctor, you know what, your sister is very sick, she might going to die, she starts producing dark energy, and she becomes a dark princess, that's a catastrophe.
Ah,
for example. Or a cat that it's in reality a Quimboid, which is actually a character. Yeah, it's a character on Princess Wing, a cat that is actually a Quimboid. Parasites the mind of another person, and that person calls more voids and produces a lot of dark energy. That's a catastrophe. Basically, everything that could go wrong goes wrong.
yeah, it's very much big problems.
Big problem. Then there's the combat. The combat is basically resolved by a bunch of rules that we are going to discuss when we do the one shot. And then we have the Princess Sortie, in which basically the combat happened if there was a person in a coffin, or if there was a problem to solve using violence. This is where it is resolved.
Yes, makes sense.
If you have the tax correctly, you save the person. You can apply the precious aid. This is where the precious aid part is important, because if you don't apply the precious aid, remember the person goes catatonic.
Yes.
It doesn't die, but it goes catatonic. If it's a dark princess, it can die,
Yeah.
which is something you don't want
Yeah, death is
usually.
Yeah, death is usually important for things that require to live.
And finally, the
But
ending
that's so
phase.
stress.
In the ending phase is basically the close-up of the episode.
Yeah.
The precious aid, what happened with the precious aid, if the princess is okay, or if the person is okay.
Yeah, like
What
really builds
happened?
up this 3-act structure in storytelling, which is nice to have that sort of thing put there for new GMs actually, where it's got this already like a guy like, hey, here's a good way to tell a story in a 3-act structure for each session, because it's supposed to be relatively episodic. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. So there you go. That's Princess Wing in a very short nutshell. Well, very short in comparison with other things. We might make a one shot with that. We need people, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
Looking for people that want to do this. And that's important stuff. It's played with cards, which is the most interesting thing about it, I think.
Yeah.
The cards power the armaments. And it's played basically in a chessboard.
Yes. Yeah, I meant.
We're
I
going to
saw
check
that
it
where it's
out.
got, your 8 grids sort of thing. It's like, hey guys, we managed to make chess into also a card game.
It's fun. I don't know. I mean, chess is an update. Maybe they invented chess too, and we don't know. Chess 2.0.
Yeah, maybe.
After 4,000 years, I hope the wait was earned it.
Okay, so currently.
So I think
paying
that's
$25 a year for 100 gigabytes. Jeez, that ain't just a price. Sorry,
that's not surprising.
I'm gonna put more space in the fucking Google Drive for the
That's good.
for the uploading things.
Okay, so remember kids, play Princess Wing. It's an interesting system. Who do I recommend it? It's interesting stuff.
I mean, you're the one who.
If you want to be a
suggested
GM, well, I can suggest it for GMs. A guy that it's very creative. That's important, and that wants to do basically their own TV show.
Yeah.
And for players, I would recommend it for the most anime-ish, maybe? I don't know,
it's-
anime-ish?
And this in the second game we found that is for weebs.
Currently the second one. I am sure there are more. I mean, we can discuss Maze in another episode, but no, maybe not. Let's not discuss it,
Maybe.
because we're going to get banned. It's a horrible idea.
Okay.
Okay, so I think it's everything for today.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just gonna very quickly talk to Barbie about fucking making sure I got this shit sorted for the drive. Because I also need to sit down at some point this week and just fucking go through Brawl Connect and make sure I can get all the fucking disability shit sorted soon. Just so I've got that on the back burner. Alright.
Okay. Take care, everyone. Sorry for the long pause.
Oh, it's...
Hope to make this a little bit faster. We can't promise anything.
We will try.
We won't promise. So, see you next time.
See ya. Alright. And recording.
Okay.